Leaked documents, radical alliances, and a new kind of revolution. Socialists say they want equality. Islamists say they want peace. But together they're building something far more dangerous, a political Trojan horse right inside America. Today we'll show you what's really happening and why Revelation may have already told us this story. Welcome to the Endtime Show. Vince Stegall here with Doug Norvell. We're so happy you've joined us today. Don't forget, we need your help. Share this video right now. Make sure you share it in all your groups, all your friends. However you can share it right now. Also, don't forget to engage in the chat. We're posing a very important question. We want to hear your thoughts. Do you think that this is political coincidence or prophetic convergence? Let us know what you think in the chat about the topics that we're covering today. And then, of course, don't forget to give us a heart and a thumbs up. It goes a long way in breaking through the algorithms, getting to your friends and family, regardless of where you're at, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, only source. It doesn't matter where you're watching. Be sure to share in some way. It helps out a lot. Before we get into today's show, I want to remind you about our new friends at True Gold Republic. If you're looking to protect your savings with something real, True Gold Republic makes it easy to buy physical gold and silver with a best price guarantee. That means if you find a lower price anywhere else, they'll beat it. Plus, you'll get free, fast, insured shipping, so your metals show up safely straight to your door. And if you want to roll your gold-backed IRA over, that is, you can do that too with no minimum. So some of our friends in the past, they've had a minimum that you needed to do. Not true with True Gold Republic. You can visit endtimegold.com and take the first step toward real security. Right now, that's endtimegold.com. All right, Doug. I like the no minimums. I like the fact that you can buy the physical gold and silver. That's something that a lot of end-timers wanted to know more about, and now that is available at endtimegold.com.
Yes. I'm even going to talk to them about some stuff, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yes. So with the election that happened last week, specifically in New York, we're getting a lot of questions about what we think with the new socialist mayor of New York.
Yeah.
Also Islamic.
Yes.
Also, today is a big day because we have the Syrian president, I think it is, either at the White House or will be soon.
Yes. Former ISIS leader.
Former.
Yeah.
I mean,
they say.
Yeah. But it's
not like once a Marine, always a Marine.
No,
is it?
I think it is actually.
It may be.
It may
once
only
an
get
ISIS,
worse.
always an ISIS.
I think so. I mean, how can you get away from that?
I don't know, especially when you find out some of the stuff we're going to talk about today.
It's absolutely crazy, and the fact that we're welcoming him in the United States, specifically into the White House. I saw a clip of him shooting hoops with some of the Trump administration, and this is another one of those things, obviously connected for me to Qatar, where I'm going, what's going on? Why is this happening? And so all the things combined, I think we have to talk about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, we definitely have to talk about it. There were 3 breaking stories about the New York mayor today. And so 3 different things talking about it. So I wanted to touch on the first 2, but really drive home with the 3rd story we've got, Vince, because that's the one that's going to connect the dots to something we've been teaching for a very long time, something that your grandfather, I believe, Vince, now I know I'm partial to things, but I think if I'm not wrong, that he was the first one to start teaching this. And we'll talk about it here in a little while. And then once he kind of uncovered that, other people started kind of seeing it and teaching it as well. I think Irvin Baxter was the first one that taught it. I remember hearing it on the radio way back when I was just a radio listener. So he's been talking about it for a long time. And so we're going to get into that today too. So you're not going to want to miss when we get to that part and talk about that and how it ties in with everything that we've been teaching for many years now.
So the opening story, though, is about leaked documents.
Yes.
I always love it when I see leaked documents because that means we're learning something that we weren't supposed to know about. And somebody leaked the documents. And usually they contain things that, obviously, in a political sense, the politicians or whoever it may be, they didn't want the public to know about it. And so this first story highlights something that exposes the Democratic Socialist plan to control the new mayor of New York, which is interesting to think about.
So now, I hope people don't get mad at me when I say this, because some people get upset if I use any kind of culture of the world to talk about things on this program. But think about this. This is like a Frankenstein's monster, because if you create something and you think you can control it, you find out normally on the other side of things is you're wrong. You can't control that. So this article basically is telling us that they put him in charge thinking they could control him. And so it's got clauses in there. It's in the article. This is, a summary of the article, but let's go through that, Vince, because everybody will see what I'm talking about.
All right, and this specifically is Life Z, although it's published in multiple locations. The story we're highlighting is from Life Z. So these documents that were leaked are from the Democratic Socialists of America. Anybody jump out at you? I guess offhand, I'm surprising you with this question. I know that I've heard of people being in this group, some prominent political figures, but I can't recall right off the top of my head who all's been in there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Somebody ran for president recently, Democratic Socialist, but they'll let us know in the chat, I'm sure. Anyway, these leaked documents revealed plans to assert significant control over Mayor Zoran Mamdani's administration, blending socialist economic goals with anti-Israel initiatives.
Right.
I don't know how we're going to get to anti-Israel initiatives, because I saw clips of Jewish rabbis congratulating him and praising him and welcoming him, and it was really odd to see. So I don't know how we get there.
Well, we get there because he is a Hamas supporter. And so that's one of the things that he ran on. He ran on an anti-Israel platform.
I'm just saying, I don't know how
promoting Palestine,
Jews or rabbis.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't know how
back
you can
someone
vote for the guy.
It's like, I don't understand.
Well,
that.
if you think you can control him,
there you go.
Anyway,
so this document that was discovered was from November 2nd, 2025. And it was created by the DSA's anti-war working group, and it outlines this strategy to ensure that elected officials comply with the organization's priorities in exchange for political backing.
Yeah, so there you go. In exchange for the greenback dollar and support for your party, and support for your campaign, then they think they can control you. This is one of the reasons why they have not liked Donald Trump for so long, because they were not able to control him financially, because he was okay on his own. As a matter of fact, I believe that this is still correct. I know his first term, he didn't take a paycheck. He would donate his paycheck as president to different organizations. I don't know if he's doing that the second term or not, but I know he did it the first term. So interesting, because that's one of the reasons why they didn't like Trump, because they couldn't control Trump through money.
But this isn't anything new, though. We've seen this for a long time where politicians are controlled, of course, by their donors. If you don't do what they want you to do, they stop giving you money.
Exactly.
You can't afford the lifestyle you've been living, and your campaign's not back.
You heard where he went after he won, right?
I did not.
Oh, he went to party in Puerto Rico. There was a big story all weekend long.
Party in Puerto Rico. Is that a song?
I don't know, but if it's not, it's a great opportunity for one. Party in Puerto Rico. But that's where he was over the weekend, and a lot of people were, talking about that he's asking people to help finance his goals for New York while he's down partying in Puerto Rico. So, anyway.
Well, there you go. The Bernie Sanders, it was the DSA member.
There you go.
So that's the guy I was thinking of, actually.
And Sam said in my ear just now that Trump's still not taking a paycheck. They checked.
Yeah, he's donating that every quarter.
Yeah. So, okay. So yes, that first story is letting you know, and the way that they term it, like you were talking about, it's contingent on his adherence to the DSA policy objectives. That's how they pay him. As long as he sticks to the script, they're going to make sure that he gets his money. His lifestyle is going to continue the way that he likes it to be. So very interesting.
Well, I don't know that anyone's surprised by this. This is how it goes, and it seems like it goes that way more and more each year. We're learning new things like this. Now,
but when you've got a Muslim in place, it's not going to matter what the Democrats are saying. He's backed by Muslim people who are wanting to destroy the country from within. He's got more money than he knows what to do with. I mean, he's going to be supported by people like maybe Qatar. Somebody said the other day in the chat, I cracked up when I saw it, it's too bad they don't know how to spell guitar. But, yeah, I mean, he's going to be getting funding from other people, because this is part of a plan to infiltrate the United States with Islamism. And so you think that they're not excited? You think that radical Islam is not excited about this guy getting to be the mayor of New York?
Well, on top of that, Ghazala Hashmi, which I don't think we're talking about today, she won the lieutenant governor race in Virginia the same day, making her the first Muslim woman elected to the statewide office in the U.S. So Virginia and New York both of those elected prominent positions, Muslims for prominent positions. So we're going to see that more and more. Of course, we live right here in Richardson. We talk about that frequently, or we don't live here, but we're right here across the highway from our studio is Richardson, the number 2 populated city in the United States of Muslims. And so we're going to see more and more stuff. We see it around here. We're going to see it more and more. And then the clips going around on social media the night that he won of people chanting Allah Akbar, and I see some of them posted. They go, oh, this is not in Gaza, or it's not in Iran. This is in New York City.
Yeah. And they were taking down the American flags and putting up Islamic flags. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, it's something else. But here so think about this, folks, because this is what I really want us to concentrate on and think about. After 9/11, what did we hear? That they said Allah Akbar before they, slammed the planes into the Twin Towers and things like that. This is the cries that they were hearing over New York when the buildings came down and over 3,000 American lives were lost, right? And this is what they're cheering in the streets of New York City, of all places in all the world. That chant's going out because now they have a leader in place of the city that they brought the buildings down on. So just something to think about. I mean, let that simmer and stew for you a little bit there, I would think. But the next article, Vince, comes from the Gateway Pundit. It was a huge article, and I just try to cut it down as much as I can. But, yeah, that's where it talks about the Allah Akbar and the folks saying this right there in New York City. But they said this is what was interesting to me in some of that. I got it highlighted there. His post-election speech intertwined religion and political themes. Once again, we hear politics and religion as he And it's not Christianity, the religion that he's talking about, okay? So those are things that he's put together. He emphasized socialist ideas such as wealth redistribution, collective ownership, and economic justice. Then critics viewed the event as a troubling fusion between faith and radical leftist ideology. Defunding the police is one of the things that he wants to do. Higher taxes, rent controls, and expanded welfare. It's alarmed businesses and law enforcement leaders who fear economic decline as well as a raising crime rate. As a matter of fact, did I hear the other day that the police chief the fire chief, did he resign after the mayor came in because of some of the things that he didn't agree with? Or
I heard that, but I'm not sure I have anything to prove that it's true. I don't remember where I heard that.
I'd heard it, but I never saw anything about it. But someone was saying that happened. So very interesting. And so it just goes to show you we are moving toward a different time in the world, where I saw a post this week that said, never forget, and they showed the Twin Towers, and then they said, well, we forgot, and they showed the mayor there. And so, I mean, to me, as an American, this concerns me, especially somebody that's living in a state where they're coming down and they're trying to insert Sharia law cities and change laws down here. That's interesting because when you read about the Antichrist, one of the things he does is try to change laws and times. So interesting, because we're seeing an Antichrist spirit come into this nation, and we're seeing people from other countries, Vince, that are warning us and telling us, look, don't let America turn into the next France or Great Britain, because these people have seen radical Islamists come in and take over their country. And so that's one of the things people are trying to warn about here, and saying people that don't live in the United States are saying, look, you are dangerously close to ending up like Europe and like what's happened here in France and Great Britain. And so I think everybody needs to be paying attention, because Bible prophecy mentions some of this too, and that's some of the things we'll get into here in a little bit.
Yeah, I've confirmed here that Robert Tucker, the New York City Fire Commissioner, resigned the day after citing his election. So he's the only one that's resigned connected to that I can find. But that did happen with him. And then also, as we're talking about these current events, I wanted to pose the question again: is this political coincidence or prophetic convergence? Obviously, we're highlighting a few political stories right now.
Yeah.
Those that have been around Endtime for any amount of time know our show used to be called Politics and Religion,
right,
and they know some of what we teach probably on the green horse, which we'll get into momentarily. So as we're talking along here and these stories are being highlighted, let us know what you think. Is this just a political coincidence or not?
Right.
Where to from here, Doug?
So this next article, the third article we've got, has some very interesting points to it. And so I kind of broke it down in points, but I want to at least read the paragraph there that I put in, because it gives you the meat of the topic and what this gentleman is saying. This is the founder of Hamas's son. He was known as the Green Prince, but he saw the dangers of Islam. Many people a couple of weeks ago, we did a story about a young lady that her father was one of the founding people of Hamas, and she came out of Hamas because the Lord showed up to her in a dream. Jesus revealed himself, and we showed the video and how beautiful that testimony was from her. Well, everybody started reminding me about Mosab Hassan Yousef, who was the son of a Hamas founder. And really, I mean, I believe that what they were saying, from him being called the Green Prince, he was ready to take the helm of Hamas and be a leader over Hamas at one point. Well, he walked away from it. And so the article has interesting verbiage there, and so that's what I want to talk about. The title of it, and this comes from I can't remember where I got this article from. I think I got it from Breitbart, but yes, Breitbart News. It says that the founders of Hamas's son says that Mamdani is a red-green block Trojan horse. So he lets you know that there's something more to this, and he gives you two specific colors, and those colors are tied into Bible prophecy, and that is what we're going to talk about here.
Now, why is he saying red and green? Is he specifically calling it red and green because of Islam? Is he saying green because of Islam?
Socialism, communism, and Islam coming together. This guy is a Islamic socialist. So he says it's a red-green Trojan horse. So very interesting.
And he's picking those colors. It's not like he's tying it into what we teach or Bible prophecy at all. He's strictly
It's just
writing
known colors. I mean, it's colors that are now becoming more and more known as we've been talking about them for a long time. And when we break it down here in a minute, there may be some people that's never heard this before. There may be people that's been listening as long as I have and heard Brother Baxter break it down long ago. And so it's interesting because when he first taught this, and maybe I should wait. Let's wait till we get there because I'll explain that when we get there.
Let's do it.
All right.
Where do we start on this?
So let's read that first little paragraph there, and then we can break it down in the keys to what he's talking about here to help everybody understand.
Okay, so Mosab Hassan Yousef is the son of Hamas co-founder, which you've already highlighted, and he's a former Israeli intelligence operative known as the Green Prince. Also, he was born in I think Gaza, if I recall correctly, but so. He was an Israeli intelligence informant, and and then he converted to Christianity at some point. I don't know when that was, but he warned that New York's mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani represents a dangerous convergence of radical socialist and Islamist ideologies and what he calls the Green-Red Alliance. In an interview with Breitbart News, Yousef accused Mamdani of serving as a Trojan horse for forces seeking to dismantle American capitalism and weaken the U.S. from within.
So there you go. I mean, there's the plan that we've known about for a long time, because even when we were covering Epic City here, we had videos of guys talking about that was their goal. They were going to come in and they were going to uproot Christian values and the American way of life and capitalism. They're going to uproot it from the soil, and they were going to remove it, and Islam would take over. And they were doing it using our own laws against us, because there were certain laws that they were using to do it, to get in our country and begin to do this. They were using our own laws against us to support what they were doing. So it's interesting that now we're seeing what's happened here. And like I said before, I made that Frankenstein reference. If the Democratic Party thinks that they can control him, they cannot, because Islam is the one that he's going to be loyal to. He's not going to be loyal to the money that the Democrats are giving him. Once he gets in the power and the authority he needs to get in, it's probably not going to start right here in New York. He's probably looking for a bigger office somewhere. And once he gets that, that's it, game over. And he won't listen to anybody. He'll be like Frankenstein's monster being out of control. But this article has some key points, so I want to kind of run down through those and tell everybody. So some of this, he's involved in some of the things that we've looked at that are right here in our own city, this Epic City stuff. So not directly involved, but the same organization that they're involved with that pay him, okay? So key points, Red-Green Alliance. This is the words from this article, from this document. It's not driven by our teaching or by the Bible. It may be driven by the Bible. I don't know what Yousef understands completely. But Yousef claims Mamdani embodies a coordinated alliance between the far-left socialists, which is the red movements, and the Islamic network, which is the green. Okay, these groups allegedly share the goal of eroding Western democracy, capitalism, and Israel's integrity. So this is one of the reasons, we talked about that the other day, that people like, Vince brought this up, people like Tucker are receiving money from Qatar, and Qatar is paying a bunch of money into their programs, their podcasts, and all those things. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, Tucker's freaked everybody out because he came out with this this Zionist, Christian Zionist stuff that he was talking about. So that's one of the things that they're saying. So think about it, because before they would call you a racist for certain things. If you had certain ideas, being a nationalist, they said you're a racist. Remember when they were feeding you all that garbage, folks? Remember, they repeat things over and they make it sound like it's horrible. So when we were talking a couple years ago during the Biden administration, they were saying that if you were a nationalist, you were a racist. So now they're saying if you're a Christian Zionist, you're a racist. That's basically what they're saying, that you bought into this whole Israel thing and that you're clouded judgment and you're racist against other people. So it's kind of the same thing. They're putting these ideas in your head. They're trying to repeat it over and over. Remember, I know everybody's heard this, but if you repeat a story, even if it's untrue, enough times, it becomes the truth. Nancy Pelosi quoted that. She said it herself, that if you repeat a lie enough times, it becomes the truth. And so that's what they do. They tell you right up on the camera when they're talking what they're doing. They're giving you a load of bologna and telling you that it's ribeye steak. So just keep that in mind. So that's what he's doing. Then the next point is the ties to radical figures. So this is another thing, Vince, that this article helps you understand, is that Mamdani has faced criticism for ties of Iham Shawari Wahaya. Is that pretty good?
That sounds perfect.
All right. Linked to the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. An activist, Linda Sassour, both associated with anti-Israel and Islamist causes, and campaign finance records also showing funding from, is that SAIR? Is that how you say that? CAIR, capital letters.
I've always called it CARE, but...
Okay, well, that is the same organization that's helping Epic City right here in our backyard.
Right.
This same foundation. So he's connected to this same foundation, a group under scrutiny for alleged Hamas ties. Okay? These are points from this article, folks. He's also got a pro-Palestinian platform. Mamdani's political identity centers on the Palestinian advocacy, and Yousef accused him of exploiting identity politics and anti-Israel sentiment, warning that he seeks to globalize the Intifada. That's one of his goals there. So, I mean, these are just... It's just a couple of things that are coming from this article that if you go back and you read the entire article, it's a big article, so you can read it yourself and you can see all the things that he's involved with, but it's beginning to be exposed. His economic and ideologies and the dangers that are involved in there. It says is warning his socialist agenda and Islamic sympathies will destroy New York's capitalist foundation and freedom. There's even been people that said they're going to move their companies out of New York now, like large companies. And Texas is full, folks. We already have a lot of people, so you're going to have to go to another state. Texas.
We're closed.
Yeah, Texas is closed. No, I'm just kidding. But we do have a lot of people moving here from those areas. So.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
The very wise John Little, host of the Little Things on Only Source, commented in the chat and said, "We'd better know the difference between bologna and ribeye steak."
Yeah,
buddy. We're going to get some hate from the bologna lovers out there, but
hey,
we might talk about that on the other
right.
side of the break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
A reminder of the breaking news this hour. At least 22 people are reported to have died in a strike in Gaza.
The rise of Islam.
We're trying to bring answers for so many families desperately.
Is the Israel-Hamas-Iran conflict World War III? So let's talk about the four horsemen. What do these horses symbolize? These are the four spirits of the heavens which go forth from standing before the Lord of all the earth. In the end time, the true people of God will not be weak, anemic, and defeated. These prophesied events are revealing we are quickly approaching the time of the Great Tribulation right now.
Now streaming on OnlySource and available to order at endtime.com/green. Go to endtime.com/green or call 800-ENDTIME.
What if you could understand Bible prophecy? Dave Robbins, the host of the End Time Show's TV and radio programs, is holding a free prophecy conference near you. Gain peace and understanding about what the Bible says concerning end time prophecy. Call 1-800-ENDTIME or go to endtime.com/events to see when Dave will be in a location near you.
Welcome back to the End Time Show. Vince Stegall here with Doug Norvell. Thank you so much for joining us. I do want to remind you, Dave and Janet Robbins are back from Israel. They landed, I think, on Friday here in Dallas, and then they flew out on Saturday to Thibodaux, Louisiana for a conference there yesterday, and they're teaching a special class tonight. They're in Thibodaux. They have discipleship courses at the church there that brought them, and one of them is End Time 401, I think is what it's called on their website. So as you grow in discipleship at their church, they direct you through End Time classes, and they've asked Dave to speak at that class tonight. And so I
think it's like a graduation ceremony too,
Okay.
So it's kind of a special event.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, I think that's what he was telling me the other day when I talked to him.
Wonderful. Well, it's closed off. It's private, but he's still there. So he and Jan are both there. And
so you're stuck with me and Vince today again. Sorry. And tomorrow.
Well, don't tell him that. I may not come back for tomorrow.
Maybe not. Maybe we'll have
we'll see what happens.
Special guest tomorrow.
But anyway, I just wanted to give you an update on where Dave and Jana are, and also remind you that this weekend they'll be in Craig, Colorado. I was initially supposed to be on that trip speaking Sunday morning alongside Dave in a different session, but alongside him, and those plans got shifted because of a funeral that I'm traveling to. I mentioned on the show last week, Pastor Robert Straub passed away, who is on our board of directors here at End Time Ministries, and we've known him for my whole life, and he used to go to camp with Irvin Baxter, our founder. So I am going to that funeral. I will not be at the Craig, Colorado conference, and that's unfortunate. I was really looking forward to being there, but nonetheless, Dave and Jana will be there. All the details for that conference are at endtime.com/events. And then also there's something else I was going to say about that, but I don't remember what it is. It happened again, Doug.
Man, see,
I'm having
your
problems.
age is
I'm getting
showing.
old.
Yeah, you are.
I just
you ever walk in a room and forget why you came in there?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't remember if I have.
Forgot.
I forgot about it. So, I was going to say pray for Dave and Jan. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Very important. Everything's okay as far as we know, but I keep kind of having a good laugh, Doug. Mm-hmm. I think about how exhausted they must be going on.
I know they're tired because I'm tired. So,
well, I think about they've been in Israel for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
all the traveling that's associated with that, the time difference, 9 hours difference. So when it's time to sleep here, it's time to be up touring there, and you're dealing with those challenges. And then they get back, and the next day with jet lag, got to fly to Louisiana and do that, and so.
Now, we got our couple back. So a couple that go to our little church in Kilgore went on the tour. And I'd made the joke the other day, I hope nothing happens because I'll lose half my church. But they were there yesterday. They got back Friday. They actually beat us home Friday night. So they got home before we did Friday night from Israel. But yesterday after church, we all went out to grab something to eat. And they were like, okay, we'll see y'all later. They were ready to go home and get some rest because they were jet lagged. So I can only imagine what Dave and Jana, after being in charge of the tour, coming home, being here for one night, getting back to the airport the next day, flying out, and not been home since. That's got to be rough. And now they come home for a couple of days and they turn around and go to Colorado. So
also another time zone.
Yeah.
So pray for Dave and Jana.
Yes.
And if you'll join us in praying for them, just put that simply in the chat. Pray for Dave and Jana.
Yeah.
Let us know you'll be praying with us. And then one last thing before we get back into the show and get into these scriptures, Doug, because obviously that's the important part of what we're doing today,
right.
Particularly important, showing people where we're at in current events and explaining it through a lens of Bible prophecy. I wanted to highlight over on YouTube in that chat, King Mind Cola is the username. I have no idea what his real name or his or her real name is. King Mind Cola did a super chat. Another super chat came through. He gave $4.99 through the super chat thing. I can't explain what all that is. I'm a little too old for that.
Man, if you can't explain it, then you know I don't have a clue what you're talking about.
The gist is you get to customize your comment, and so. But in the process, you bless the ministry.
Well, thank you for blessing.
And so we're so grateful for King Mind Cola for doing that over.
King Mind Cola?
That's the username.
Nice. I like it. It's catchy.
Yeah.
All right.
So, thanks to King Mind Cola.
Sounds like a CB handle back in the day.
Anyone else that Dave Robbins just commented in the chat and said, I'm praying for Dave and Jana.
I bet you are, Dave.
Hey, he's awake. So, yes. I think he's getting ready to go into that class, actually. So definitely be praying for him right now.
God bless you, Dave. We love you.
We love Dave. All right, Doug. So we left off right before the break on this the Hamas founder's son, Mosab Hassan Yousef, who has converted to Christianity, formerly known as the Green Prince, because he was in line to I guess, be one of the leaders of Hamas. And he was also had lived a double life because he was an Israeli intelligence operative. Somehow they converted him over, and then later he converted to Christianity. And so we're going through this article that he wrote on Breitbart where he calls Mayor Mamdani of New York, he's the red-green Trojan horse in America. And so we were going through that, and you were highlighting the key points. I'm not exactly sure where you left off, but how do we wrap that story up and get into what the scriptures are saying?
Well, that's basically I hit most of them there. The anti-Semitism we talked about earlier in that paragraph, but the warning that he gives to American liberals, he urges the progressive voters to see through Mamdani's rhetoric, arguing that they are empowering a confused idealist with dangerous alliances. Okay, so think about that. This is a guy who knows, because he was in the Hamas leadership. He said Mamdani's rise reflects the broader attempt by communists and Islamists to undermine America's leadership and freedom. So that's the conclusion of that, where he calls him the Trojan horse and tells us we need to watch out for that. And so we can jump into the Bible scriptures now and begin to explain why those colors that he's mentioning are important and how important they are to what's happening in the world right now. I mean, it's prophetic what we're seeing happen all over the world right now.
Yes, it is. And Doug, one thing, maybe we can either confirm or debunk it. I've seen a meme going around online, and on it has a bunch of pictures of country flags that are Muslim-controlled countries, so Iran, Iraq, so forth. And on those flags, it's really interesting. Do you know what 4 colors are there for all of them?
Yeah.
Literally all of it. It's unbelievable.
Right.
Black, white, red, and green.
Yeah.
The exact color of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. And so people go, obviously, Islam,
the 4 horses?
They're all 4 horses.
Yeah.
So is that meme accurate or inaccurate?
Well, we believe it's inaccurate, and I believe that what we're seeing here with this article, that Yousef even understands this. He knows the different colors that are represented there for the different ideologies, and so that's what we're looking at here. As we get into the Bible, we'll explain what we believe those colors are. You saw the commercial there in the break where Dave is talking about the rise of Islam and everything, and so he's got a couple of different DVD series that, you know, one of them talks about the Green Horse and World War III, and the other one is still talking about the rise of Islam and the things that are going on with that brand new DVD. What's the name of it?
The Green Horseman in World War III.
Yeah, but the other one that we show with
America's Prophesied Future.
Yes, there you go. America's Prophesied Future. He talks about that a little bit in there as well. So you'd think I'd remember. See, that's part of that getting old thing. But in Revelation, in the book of Revelation chapter 6, the first 8 verses talk about these horsemen, often referred to, Vince, as the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. And so we can look at that because a lot of people also say that these are judgments, and they're not necessarily judgments. That what they are, we'll get down into what they are. I don't want to give it away in case you don't know, but these are not necessarily judgments because there's some of them that don't have anything to do with judgment at all, like the black horse. And so we'll get into that and talk about it a little bit. But I'll let you lead, and I'll sit back and I'll glide with you here.
Where am I leading from?
Revelation 6:1-8, just kind of give them an idea of what those colors are and what we believe they represent. I kind of scrunched it because we've talked about it many, many times here.
So as always, we're going to tell people to go read it for yourself. Go read those scriptures. We'll read them sometimes here, but specifically on this, Revelation 6:1-8, go read it for yourself. See what it actually says. But what you'll read there is that Jesus is opening the first 4 seals, releasing the 4 horsemen. So the white, red, black, and pale horses. And traditionally, those have been interpreted as symbols of conquest, war, famine, and death. Of course, the green horse,
a lot of
the
people
pale, I
teach
should say
that
here, death. However, when you compare Revelation 6, interestingly enough, with Zechariah 6:1-8, same verses, same chapter and verses, Revelation and Zechariah 6:1-8, it identifies these horses as 4 spirits that influence world systems rather than actual literal future events. So it's not an event. It's not like one of the trumpets where we're talking about something occurred and you know, like the sixth trumpet war that's coming is one of the trumpets. This is actually quite different from that. So the first one is communism, the red horse.
Well, that's the first one we're going to talk about. I did it differently because in the Bible it's the white horse first, but we're doing it in a different sequence just because we're talking about the red and the green.
Sure.
So I started with red to kind of help everybody there. I'm sorry, I kind of messed that up a little bit. I should have just did it in the order.
This works. Okay. The red horse. So it represents communism.
Yes.
How in the world do we get that, Doug?
Well, you can look at history for that to understand that, and that's one of the things that Irvin Baxter did when he was examining these things. He began to see things. He read some books, and I guarantee Dave knows the name of those books. I can't remember the name of the books. You may be able to remember them. But he saw a marriage of communism and Catholicism and capitalism in a book one time. And so that kind of helped him spark his ideas of things. I think he was in a pastor's office praying if I remember right, when he saw the book on the shelf. And it was one of those aha moments that helped him get on this course. But with communism, we see red China, red Russia. Those communist countries are all known as red. That is, the color of red represents communism. You look at the flag of Russia, it's red with the sickle and the hammer in it. You look at China's flag, and it's red as well. And so red, communism, this is something that goes together. So,
all right. The second one is the white horse, the second one, the black horse that we're highlighting, capitalism. So where do we get that the black horse equals capitalism?
Yeah, so let me go back to the red horse real quick, just to kind of help also, because it tells you that their conquest is one of the things, and that horse takes peace from the earth. And that's one of the things that communism does. It takes the peace from the earth, and there is conquest. So there's those things are involved in that. So just like with that, when you look at that black horse, Vince, and we check out the black horse, we begin to see that how we get that capitalism. So that is because we've got do I need to hold over? Let's hold over.
Let's hold
because
over.
I don't want to say it now. Let's wait till we get back from the break.
Well, I'll give one little teaser.
Okay.
Black Friday's coming.
Ooh, there you go.
There's a lot of end timers that love Black Friday.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan personally. I don't like to get out and do all that stuff, but I know people that
My
do.
My wife does.
But it may be tied to the black. Maybe we should do a show on that. We'll be right back after the break. Don't go anywhere. We'll do a show.
Many people argue America is not mentioned in the prophecies of the Bible. But they will miss so much about the coming events that will happen in the end time if they don't get that understanding. What do these beasts symbolize? That's what we need to answer. Because if we can't understand what these beasts symbolize, there's no point in even studying this, right? If you don't believe that America is mentioned in the Bible, you're going to be stuck when it comes to figuring out all these prophecies. But once you understand this, America has a prophesied future. It's given to us in the Bible. And the America will not be part of the world government, but we're going to be protecting Israel against the world government all the way to the second coming of Jesus Christ.
Now streaming on OnlySource and available to order at endtime.com/America. Go to endtime.com/America or call 1-800-ENDTIME.
Welcome back to the End Time Show. Vince Stegall here with Doug Norvell. Don't forget, we need your help. When we're 45 minutes into a show, it's the right time to share this video for the first time or the 10th time. It doesn't matter if you've already done it. Make sure you do it again. 45 minutes in, tell something to wherever you're streaming it at. Those algorithms, those computers that watch these things, they're watching everything that we do, whether you like it or not. But when you share this deep into the show, they go, wow, that show is noteworthy, and it'll help boost it a little bit more. So even if you've already done it, go ahead and do it again. Share this video. Be sure engaging in the chat and give us a thumbs up or a heart, whatever's available where you're at will be a great help to our show and getting our message out, his message out around the world. So do that right now. Doug, we were talking about the black horse right before the break, but we also got a text from Dave. Do we want to highlight that?
Yeah, so in case anybody wants to check out that book, the book I was talking about that Pastor Baxter saw in a pastor's office when he was praying is Communism, Democracy, and Catholic Power by Paul Blanchard. So there you go. So Dave, I knew Dave would know the answer to that. So there you go. He reached out and let us know. Did you want to mention how cool that one thing was in YouTube?
I mentioned when I was mentioning earlier the super chats. Paula, that's her username. I'm surprised that's available, but she donated $19.99 and did a cool little sticker where this guy's giving a heart or whatever, and Linda donated $2 through a super chat. So those two came in while I was talking about it earlier. Pretty cool little feature that
I had no idea
while you're
you could
watching
do that, so.
You can bless the ministry, and
awesome
every penny counts as we are doing our best to expand God's kingdom.
Amen.
Before the break, I mentioned Black Friday, Doug.
Right.
So I'm curious to know who likes Black Friday out there, but also, do you think it has anything to do, before we get into it, do you think it has anything to do with the black horse? Is Black Friday connected to that at all or not? Let us know what you think in the chat.
I'm not going to say. I'm going to let everybody else give their opinion. But what the black horse does have to do with is capitalism. And one of the things that help us to understand that is it talks about the rider having a pair of balances, and that those balances are to weigh. You know, if you think about what balances are for, they're made to weigh. And the scripture actually says, do not hurt the oil or the wine. And so it lets you know, it's talking about commerce is what that's talking about. The color black is associated with capitalist nations like those in the northern hemisphere. That's where we're located. Capitalism drives the economic system, but also in Zechariah, it says in those places it quiets God's spirit, because people have become consumed with material pursuits. And so that's one of the things that you can associate that and see. I mean, here in America, we are very spoiled. That was one of the things that the people that went on the tour were telling me over lunch yesterday, is that we're so spoiled here in America because we've got, you can walk into a Walmart and there's aisles and aisles and aisles of food, and Israel, it's not like that. It's not like they have big super Walmarts and all that stuff. And we have all this materialism that keeps us really from connecting with God. We've got a really good life here, and because life is so great, so many people neglect their relationship with God, and it's quieted his spirit here. So another clue there. And then the next one, Vince.
Are we going to talk about Black Friday before we get there?
Oh, if you want to, you can give the report on what folks are saying, sure.
Well, no, I meant, we just won't. We'll save it. Black Friday's coming up.
I'm not going to say what
Maybe we'll talk about it in a future show.
Maybe so.
All right.
It'll have
We'll
its own
keep
show.
it mysterious for now.
But am I going to buy some Black Friday deals? Probably so. And maybe Cyber Monday, too. See, I know that much.
Wow, Doug.
So, yeah. So we'll see.
All right. How about the white horse?
Yeah. So the white horse represents Catholicism, another ideology. And it says its rider has a bow but no arrows. So it's a spiritual power without warfare, and that's what it's explaining to us there. If you think about the Catholic Church, it represents this rider well, because this rider wears a crown. It's kind of reflecting of the popal or the tiara, his crown that he wears, the Pope's crown. The Pope also wears white. He's got white vehicles, white helicopter, white airplane. And recently, what did he get?
A white horse.
A white horse. He actually got a white horse. And so its symbols identify this as a religious and political spirit seeking global influence, paralleling with communism and with capitalism. And you know, it's got far-reaching tentacles as well, the Catholic Church. Remember, Catholic Church rules over many nations, languages, and tongues. Revelation chapter 17 tells us about that as well. And then the fourth and final horse brings us to where we are today as well. So I'll let you handle that one there.
Well, the pale horse.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with anything we've talked about today, if you just look at it for that.
Right.
Again, Revelation 6, 7 through 8. It's been translated as pale horse, as symbolizing Islam. But what's interesting, and Dave highlights this in that Endtime original that you highlighted, which is
the Green Horse in World War III.
The Green Horseman in World War III, which is available for streaming on OnlySource today, right now.
Yeah.
And yes, you can still use code June and get a month free.
Oh, my goodness.
So
we're almost in December.
I know. But the key insight here is from that Greek word chloros.
Yes.
Which means green or pale green.
Right.
And so, of course, they're translating this, and Dave highlights this, like I said, but they're translating this, and they're like, of course, there's no green horses. It must be the pale part of that pale green.
Yeah.
And so, therefore, it's been used as pale. But when you look at it as green, things start becoming very, very interesting.
Yeah.
And also, chloros was used multiple other times in the text, not just Revelation, but throughout Scripture. Yeah. And each time it was translated to green. But when you're talking about a horse,
one time, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And so Pastor Baxter, I remember him talking about this because years ago when I was a radio listener, I listened every day, and I remember him talking about this specifically because it blew my mind. As he's talking about it, he said when he first started understanding the horseman, he didn't understand the pale horse. When he was trying to understand what is the pale horse. And so he looked at everything and he kind of thought, okay, maybe it's death. I think in our original Revelation commentary, it might have been that he put a side note in there about that. But I remember him saying that he thought that fourth horse was death because of what it did. It attacked with pestilence and sword and like the savagery and all these things. But as he began to look at that, he's like, this doesn't fit. These other ones were Catholicism, capitalism, communism. And he said that death doesn't really fit there. And so he began to look, and he is the first pastor that I ever remember teaching that it's green. When he started looking at the original Greek there and the original language, and I remember him saying when he began to see that, he saw green. And so green is definitely the color of Islam. And so anyway, I just wanted to note that because I remember that as I was doing this lesson day, kind of setting everything up, I was thinking, man, I remember him saying that on the radio. So,
well, historically and symbolically, the official color of Islam has been green. Muhammad's favorite color was green.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned before, the Islamic nations, they have green in them.
Yeah.
Mosques everywhere around here and everywhere that we've seen around the world in other states. You'll see green prominently used. Even the Temple Mount use green prominently, the Alaska Mosque there. So it's seen everywhere. Ramadan, their official, their number one holy site. Lots of green used there. So green is so clearly the color of Islam. And then it starts lining up with this scripture as well. The rider, death and hell. How do we tie that to Islam?
Well, I mean, just look at the savagery like I was talking about before, and look at the things where Islam is prominent. Look at the things that have just happened with this leader we talked about coming into the White House. He allowed Christians and Druze to be killed there in Syria along with other people that were being killed. But remember when they were marching the Christians through the streets and having them bark like dogs and crawl on their hands and feet, and then they were just executing them right there. It's that kind of death and hell that we're talking about. And Islam really glorifies death, because remember back when Israel was having so much trouble with the suicide bombers, it was one of the things that they glorified. Remember, we've had a mother talking on one of our videos where she says that she loved that her son was going to give his life to jihad, that he was going to kill himself with a bomb to kill the enemies of Islam, which were the Jews, and that he was going to go and receive his, 70 virgins. And so, I mean, they glorify death and glorify killing someone who is not Islamic or stands against Islam. So it's a glorification of that. Goes right along with that scripture, death and hell follow with him. One of the things I looked up today to see in the Quran, it contains at least 109 verses, Vince, that speak of war with non-believers, and usually on the basis of their status as non-Muslims. And some of the Quran are quite graphic, and it commands them to decapitate people or cut off their hands and their fingers and things like that of the infidel. And it says that Muslims that do not do this, that they are hypocrites, and they warn that Allah will send them to hell if they do not join the slaughter. So that's actually in some of the Quran passages, and it's, I mean, it's crazy to think about that, but that it glorifies that type of behavior. Now, I know people are going to say, well, in the Bible it says to do this and that. Well, yeah, it did in the Old Testament when God was creating a bloodline there that the Messiah was going to come from, and there were people that, if they did certain things, they were taken out and stoned and things like that. So during that time, during the law and the things that God was working out in the wilderness and things, it was a little bit more, because grace was not introduced into the world yet. Jesus had not yet come and died for our sins and all those things. But this is just in their Quran, and says that if they turn against their faith, that they're even going to be killed. That if you turn against the faith once you are in a Muslim, then you're killed for that. So
Doug, we've got like a minute left.
Yeah.
How in the world do we wrap up the show? We've talked about so much, and as we've arrived here at the Green Horseman, how do we sum up everything that we've heard today?
Well, bottom line is, Dave put a post out the other day. He said that we shouldn't teach prophecy as a way to put fear in people or to scare people into coming to Jesus. That's not why we teach the things we teach. We teach it to help you and build your faith, because the Lord said things were going to happen, and he told you before they would happen so that you would see it and have faith that would build your faith in the last days. Well, here we are watching this rise of Islam, even in our own country, even in the United States. We need to be praying for our leaders, for this country. There really does need to be a revival in the name of Jesus Christ here in this country, and people need to stand up for our Christian values and not allow the chance of Allah Akbar to happen in our streets and our flags be taken down and trampled on, and people blaspheming the name of Jesus Christ. But we're headed toward that time, Vince.
Amen.
Jesus said it was going to happen.
And that revival starts in me.
Yes, it does.
I think we should all take some ownership in that.
Yes, sir.
And one thing that you can do today to start that revival in you and your family, start by going to endtime.com/reborn. Make sure you've been born again the Bible way. And once you verify that, then start going and telling other people about it. We've been called to action. Those of us that are disciples of Jesus Christ, we're not just supposed to sit idle. We're supposed to go out and tell the world and disciple them and baptize them. And so go there, endtime.com/reborn. You can also go to watch.osn.tv. Use code June to get a free month. That code probably won't work much longer, so go take advantage of that today, because Dave's coming out with a brand new End Time original. I'll have to tell you all about it tomorrow because we're out of time. So God bless. I hope you have a great evening. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.